What's up, Commanders fans? So our guy Jayden Daniels just got another Rookie of the Week, and it's starting to look like this guy is going to break the record, and the record is 8, the most that has been gotten by any player was 8, and that was by Justin Herbert. And I think he can possibly do it. We got 9 more games, and Jayden has been doing phenomenal. And then you think about who we got to play next. I'm sure he's going to have a great game against the Giants. He did it before. So, of course, he didn't score any touchdowns in that game. But I'm sure with all this practice he had against these other teams, and the best game we had was against the Bengals. So I think now that he's had all of this practice with all these other games, I think we're going to see him do something. Of course, he had 1 touchdown last game, but I think he's going to do way better than he did last game. He didn't have to go up against a tough defense. Like the Giants, they're not a tough defense, but they can do some stuff. Just because they don't seem that tough don't mean they can't make stops in this game. They can't shut us down. But I think Jayden is think about it like this. He's had more experience with the other games he done played, the 7 games he done played. I think at this point, he's going to be showing out. And just think about last game, right? He had over 300 yards and 1 touchdown, right? So you got to think about it. The rookie class that's out right now, that's on offense, just specifically talking about offense. They're not putting up crazy numbers. And last week was a prime example of a rookie that's not putting up crazy numbers. And that was Caleb Williams. He's struggling. And he didn't even put up a touchdown last week. So Jayden is not being faced with like an extreme, crazy rookie class. So it's not like, okay, Jamar Chase or, guys like Justin Jefferson or Joe Burrow, any of those guys are competing with him. So it's just him. It's just him, Caleb Williams, and Bo Nix. Just talking about the quarterbacks right now, and it may be Drake May from time to time, but these are the people he has to compete with. And you see how hard it is for Caleb Williams to put up some scores. So all he has to do is just, at the most, throw over like 200 yards and have at least 1 or 2 touchdowns. And if he can do that, it don't matter if it's by with his legs or it can be through the air. It don't matter. As long as he gets something, I think he's going to be Rookie of the Week again. Like, it's not hard. It's hard because it's the NFL. But because of the level he plays at, it won't be hard for him. And I'm just liking what he's been doing so far. And then I want to see him break that record. I mean, of course, I want everybody to do great, but I really want to see him do great. And he's on my team. So I want him to do great. And, also the success that he's having with Terry McLaurin is phenomenal. Like, he might even get Terry McLaurin over all of his milestones. Like, so far, he is doing great. He's almost at 600 yards receiving. And I want to see Terry. We all know Terry is going to make, at this point, he's going to make 1,000 yards if he keeps on the same track and these guys can stay healthy. But he is so close to breaking his career record if he stays on that same track. His career record is under 1,200 yards. So if he gets over 1,200 yards, he'll be phenomenal. He'll be great. And of course, is a little bit less than that, but he's gonna. That's something I can see happening. I can see him breaking that record, and also I can see him getting over 7 touchdowns because that's his career record, his career high. And just imagine if he was to break all his career records, get more than 7 touchdowns, get more than 1,100 yards, get more than what is it? I think it's like 87 receptions. If he was to get 88, just think about the contract that we'll be willing to, extend. I think if he does do that, I think I could see them giving him an extra 3-year deal. And Terry's getting old, of course, but he's not done. And I think I'm probably sizing it with the 3-year deal, but I can see an extension in his future if he does break all his career highs. And it just shows you what happens to our team once we finally invest in a quarterback that not just the coaches believe in, but the owner as well. And then it says a lot about an owner that allows his coaches to go out there and draft and let guys do their actual job. And we know over the last few years we've had guys like Dan Snyder who was involved in all the wrong places. And now that he's not here, we have a great guy in Josh Harris and the rest of his team. And we got to see that. We got to see Adam Peters and Josh Harris was sitting right beside him. And Lance Newmark. We seen them all sitting at the table, and it was draft night, and they were just basically trying to move back a few picks. And they were trying to get an extra pick as well. So my boy Adam Peters is over there doing his thing on the phone. And all Josh Harris was trying to do was just understand it. He was trying to figure out everything. And he told us beforehand, before he even got into going to the draft, he told us what his process was. He wanted to be involved. And that's what you want out of a owner. You want the owner to be involved, but don't take control. You see what I'm saying? It's hard to describe. But, just see what's going on, because he wanted to find out what goes on in the NFL. What's the NFL process from draft to having guys come out and play, going to pro days, and just the whole nine. He wanted to understand it all the way around because he's not used to that. And now that he's getting familiar with being in the NFL and owning a team and all the things around it, he's still allowing his coaches and the people that he brought in to do their jobs. He's believing in them, and he's allowing them to work. And that's what you want, because what can you do? How people don't understand how hard it is to have a supervisor or a manager on your back every second of every hour, telling you things, reminding you of stuff you didn't forget. You know what I'm saying? So imagine when you can just work in peace and, okay, now I can deliver for you. Now I can do the things you need me to do. So I'm glad that Josh Harris has went out and got guys like Adam Peters, and then Adam Peters and him and everybody else went out and got guys like Lance Newmark, went out and got guys like Dan Quinn. When we wanted Ben Johnson, and we got Dan Quinn, and we know a lot of people was feeling like, oh, he was going to be a Ron Rivera 2.0, but no, he's not. He's way better. And Adam Peters is a great example of we got better, because think about the picks he done got for us. He got Jerzon Newton, a guy in his last game got a sack and got a fumble recovery. Like, he's already doing great. And we're seeing him come out there and be legit now that we don't have Jonathan Allen and he's out for the season. You have guys that can just plug and play. And then, we don't have great cornerbacks. So we have guys like Benjamin St. Juste, not sitting out, Emmanuel Forbes sitting out. And then in his first year starting right off the back, we have Mike Sanderstill come in and be dominant and already get an interception. And he's showing that he can lock corners, he can lock wide receivers down. And he's shown that he can tackle. That's the number one thing. And he does a great job. And then you got a guy like Jayden Daniels, who has already started in his very first year. Of course, we got in the first round. You expect him to start, but that's not always the case. But we got him, and then it's just like, whoa. When you step back and you think about it, it's like, whoa. And then Brandon Coleman. Can we acknowledge that? And then you got guys that could start, but they just haven't yet, but they have shown that they take advantage of the time that they're given, like Ben Sinnott or McCaffrey. Come on now. So it's like they have been hitting on guys that we thought were just going to be average. They have been hitting. And just that second round alone, after Jayden Daniels, Brandon Coleman, we have Mike Sanders still, and Jayden Newton, man, like people that we didn't even think about. Nobody's seen those guys as Mike Sanders still. We might have seen him because he was at Michigan. But besides that, we didn't see those guys as being great players right off the back. We didn't know that was going to happen in their first year. And Brandon Coleman is doing phenomenal. I'm glad he's back. And, he's going to be making an impact. But, hopefully he can stay healthy because it's a lot to ask a player to come in and start right in their first year. But, man, if he can stay healthy, that's all I ask, And I think he was dealing with a concussion, though. So that's a little different. Those can happen every game. But, man, I'm happy with what Adam Peters has been doing to the team. The fact that Terry McLaurin is almost close to breaking all of his career records. And it's possible with Jayden Daniels. And it's also possible that Jayden Daniels can help this team get to the playoffs. We're almost there. This is the stretch where we really need to lock in and get these W's. And I feel like the Giants, I think we're going to win that game. We just got to lock in and stop the run, And I think us getting a guy like Jayden Newton was perfect timing. It was perfect timing. Hopefully we get somebody for the cornerbacks, just to, somebody secure, before the trade before the trade deadline. I think it's November 5th. And I'm just excited for what Adam Peters has done because he has done a lot of things that I didn't expect this year. And that's a lot of things I frown upon, but you got to think about this. I'm not the person that's in practice watching these practices. I'm not the person that's implementing these plays like our offensive coordinator. I'm not him. That's not my job. My job is to watch the football game and see what they show me. I don't see what they don't show me. You see what I'm saying? I don't see the practices. So when they get rid of guys like Jahan Dotson, and he goes to the Eagles, in our minds, we're thinking, whoa, out of all people to trade with or to send a player to, you send it to our rival. And it's crazy to think of, but it's like, whoa, wait. He's been there for a while and still hasn't even reached probably 100 yards over there with them. So it's like, I don't know what's going on over there, but I know he ain't been doing phenomenal because you would have heard about it. But he's not even their third receiver over there. So that tells you. And then, of course, it makes sense that he's not the third receiver, but it's hard for players to come in and come from another team and just miss OTAs, miss preseason, miss the offseason, and then expect to just start right away. It doesn't happen like that for everybody, but, there are some good players that it does happen for. And Jahan Dotson is just not it. It's not it. And it might not be right now, but it may be next year. But, man, it says a lot. I don't know if we're going to be getting rid of every single Ron Rivera player. But, we still have one more, and that's Emmanuel Forbes. And I don't know if we might be packaging him with someone. But we haven't seen Adam Peters or Dan Quinn lie to us. They haven't put out any false information. Like if they say they feel good about a player, they feel good about a player. And if they feel like players got to step up, they feel like they got to step up. And they don't address too much in the media when it comes to how we feel about certain people and how we feel about where they should go and if we should get rid of them, or because they don't answer them questions. They just say we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna see what goes on. We're gonna see what happens. And that's great. I love it. And the fact that when Jayden Daniels was injured, they had him practice in the bubble, and we didn't get a chance to see him until I think the end of the week. But I'm just like, I don't even think you know what? I don't even think we seen him the whole week. But I think he practiced in the bubble and then he went out a little bit. But it was just great. They're just doing a phenomenal job at just creating a culture and then also keeping everything in home, not creating drama. And that was one of the reasons why we probably didn't go out and get the wide receiver from the San Francisco 49ers, Brandon Ayuk. And we're just trying to create healthy relationships and just allow this team to flourish. And I think what we have so far is great. We still got holes, cornerbacks, probably another wide receiver, and probably maybe depending on who we keep next year, maybe a defensive end. But man, I'm just happy for what we have and where we want to go. And I think this team is phenomenal. I think they have really went past our expectations. We were 4 and whatever last year, and I don't even want to talk about it. We were 4 and whatever, but now we're 6-2 in the first 8 games, and it's like, whoa, like, man, like I kind of thought sometimes what you think on paper is going to get us to the playoffs, but no, this actually happened. What's on paper actually happened so far. So like on paper it looked like we can make it to the playoffs, and then in reality it's looking like we can make it to the playoffs. And it don't matter if we win these games by 1 touchdown, by a field goal, as long as we win. It don't matter what Jayden does as long as we win. That's the moral of our mission. And I wish the best for Caleb Williams. I don't want to talk dirt on him or throw no dirt on him, but it's like if he gets the dub, he gets the dub. But for him, his personality, and I think their team overall needs to be redone. Like I think their mission behind their team is all off, because the way he carries himself. Like I seen a press conference, I think it came out like 2 days ago, and he was chewing gum, and I'm just like, yo, like, or chewing gum or eating, one of the two, and it was just like, yo, like comparing him to Jayden, and that's crazy. I compare him to Jayden all the time. Every time I see him somewhere, I compare him to Jayden. I'm like, bro, I'm just glad that Jayden is humble all around, and he just respectful no matter what. He don't trash talk the defense, no matter how good he was and the defense was bad. He don't trash the offense. He only trash himself. He'll talk bad about himself, And we've only lost 2 games, and we've won all our home games. I don't know. It's just so much to talk about, and I just appreciate what Dan Quinn and them guys have done. Like, in their first year, we're already looking at the playoffs as an actual position for us. And we're 2nd seed. Like, we have a chance of clinching the 1st seed if we keep it up. And, it's a lot to think about. But I think now we can start. We can, honestly, I don't know. We can start playing with that P word. Playoffs, man. We can play with it. And I'm just happy for what we have, man. And Jayden Daniels and Terry McLaurin are really making something special. And you can just tell how happy Terry is every time you see him. Every time he talks, he's passionate, he's excited, he's smiling a lot. That means a lot for him. And I think that Terry is here is perfect. And I don't know if Terry can when I think about like Terry and if he could probably break the record, the most yards for Commanders wide receiver. I think it was like 1,300 yards, and I think it was about Pierre Garçon. So if he continues on this path and get, like, right now he has 3 100-yard games, plus games. But, when I think about CeeDee Lamb, for example, last season he had 7 100-plus yard games. And, he even had a 200-yard game. So it just goes to show that, that's what caliber you got to be on. If we can get Terry the ball 100 yards for the next 4 or 5 more games, they ain't got to be consecutive, but we got 9 games to go. If in those 9 games he can get it 5 more times for 100 yards, we can probably break that record and be at 1,400 yards. But excuse me, my bad, y'all. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I know this is a long video, but thank y'all for making it to the end, man. Football is great, but it ain't everything, man. It's you got to find God, man, and God is most important in your life, and you should really recognize it, because I'm sure that he's been trying to help you. And I appreciate y'all for making it to the end of the video for real, man. But yeah, though, like that, like I just said, definitely talk to God, because football is temporary, but life is also temporary, and it's gonna come a time when you gonna need Jesus, and I'd rather you build a relationship with him while you here. You never know when your day might come. So I know I'm rapping, but I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I'm out.